Alrighty, we are live. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into another Knicks Nation post-game show. As the New York Knicks have won 7 straight basketball games, ladies and gentlemen. 7 straight games. And we came into tonight with, look, the Pelicans are good. And tonight proved that. Like, this was a really fun basketball game. Clearly the Knicks hunkered down in that fourth quarter, led by their captain and Jalen Brunson when he dropped 15 points in that fourth quarter. He went on a 10-0 run by himself in that fourth quarter. A lot of game balls to go around tonight. I thought tonight was just like a great team win again. Piggybacking off the win versus Washington. Dame Tubes, what's going on, Dame? Yes, 7-0, 7 in a row. I kind of called it on X. I said, look, 7-game winning streak starts now. And, that was on March 10th. That was before the Utah game. So, I mean, I looked at the schedule and the opponents were just clearly inferior. And, the New York Knicks took care of business. And what a game. What a freaking game, man. We're closer to the 2 spot. And that is all we want right now. Jalen Brunson said it the best at the end of the game. We can control what we can control, and we just go from there. But right now, you're seeing the New York Knicks build some good habits in the process of winning, which is always nice. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Once again, subscribe, like, all the good stuff. I appreciate every single one of you in here. Appreciate the members in here as well. Big Task, what's going on? Salute, Dis Rover. What's going on, Dis Rover? Good game. This Rover, man. What's going on? I haven't seen you in a while. Dame is in the building. Dame, hope all is well, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Appreciate you hopping in here. Joel says, I enjoyed that win. So did I. I enjoyed that win. I enjoyed tonight's win. It was a really good win, man. In the first quarter, the New York Knicks offensively looked like one of the best offenses in the NBA. Right? I mean, hitting their threes. I believe what they have 7 threes in the first quarter. The Knicks had 7 threes in the first quarter, and OG Anunoby led the charge with that. 7 threes in the first quarter. The ball was moving. The bench comes in. Jordan Clarkson talking about game balls. Like, I feel like he deserves a game ball as well. First quarter, man, Clarkson was not only in the first quarter. Clarkson was amazing in this basketball game. When he comes into the game, he's impacting the game in many ways. Dishing, swishing, at a nice alley-oop pass to Mitchell Robinson. He just seems like he gets the offense now. And it seems like he's clicking. It's clicking for him. And speaking of Mitchell Robinson with a dominant performance. Those are the 2 guys off the bench that were super impactful for this club. And they gave you 21 off the bench, 11 rebounds combined, Jordan Clarkson and Mitchell Robinson. And Clarkson gives you 5 assists again. And look, Pelicans coming to this game. Look, Pelicans beat San Antonio in San Antonio. They beat Minnesota in Minnesota. So a lot of people look at the Pelicans record like 25-47. They're 9-25 away from their home arena. And they're like, oh, another layup. No, Pelicans are really good, as they proved during this game. The Knicks went up big in that first quarter, and they went on a 15-0 run to end the first quarter, and then the Pelicans in that second quarter respond right away with the 12-0 run themselves. And you're sitting there like, wow, we got a basketball game. Fourth quarter, third quarter was a great quarter of basketball. Like, I know I'm a Knicks fan, and clearly I want them to win these games, but just a fun basketball game that we saw tonight, from start to finish. And especially in that fourth quarter, it led by our captain and Jalen Brunson. And I just thought that this was one of Jalen Brunson's best games that we've seen to start the 2026 year. It's been a struggle for him. It's been a struggle efficiently for him. But in the fourth quarter, I go back to the Houston game as well when he, took us home in that game. But in the fourth quarter, Jalen Brunson, 15 points. He went on a 10-0 run by himself in the fourth quarter. 32 points, 2 of 4 from 3, 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 7 assists, only 2 turnovers for our captain. And away we go. What a game. What a freaking game. What's going on, Eddie? Salutes. Big Task. What's going on? Castro says, got to lock up the 2 seed. Yes. Let's go. Joel says, Knicks are officially playoff ready. Let's go. 7 straight. 7 straight is 7 straight. And I believe with that win, Eddie says, did we clinch? I believe with that win, did we clinch a playoff spot with that win? If I'm not mistaken. Look, we're going to make the playoffs, but it's, I believe, did we clinch? No, it's not official yet. It's not official yet. But I believe we're out of the play-in, if I'm not mistaken. Well, not yet. It's not official yet, but I think depending on some games tonight or tomorrow, we will clinch. But look at the record. You're 48-25. Boston's 47-24. You're tied with them. And what we want as Knicks fans is to get that second seed, right? We want to get that second seed. Knicks have a better divisional record than the Boston Celtics, so that's to our advantage again. So we'll see down the stretch. Boston coming off a loss. Knicks have won 7 straight. Hottest team in the Eastern Conference, ladies and gentlemen. Hottest team in the Eastern Conference. And I love this. Heading into the postseason, you want to build these good habits. You want to take a look at your bench. You want to see who you can trust on that bench. And right now, we can damn sure trust Jordan Clarkson because, man, his decision-making has been light years better than what we saw early on in the season. Even his decision-making, I mean, Dame Twos brings up in a chat, loving how Robinson's teammates remembering he's Mitch Lob. Yes. The lobs are up. There was a statistic on the MSG networks a few games ago that the lobs have been up for Mitchell Robinson, so the Knicks are finding him more and more with lobs, thanks to Clarkson, thanks to Alvarado, OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns. So the lobs are back. And Mitchell Robinson, Mike Breen said it on the MSG broadcast, I believe this is now 7 straight games for Mitchell Robinson, longest of the season because the Knicks haven't had any back-to-backs. And we have one more to close the season out. But yeah, man, even Karl-Anthony Towns, another 14 rebound game from him, 21 and 14, the step-up threes. We saw one in the first half, which we've been missing, and it has been a part of his game lately. So, OG Anunoby, 5 threes. Even Mikal Bridges, man. I thought Mikal Bridges played a really good basketball game, and the slander has been on him. You saw Stephen A. Smith today talking ish about Mikal Bridges. I posted a video about that as well regarding my reaction to that if you guys wanted to check that out. But yeah, even Mikal Bridges gives you 4 threes, 7 assists, 5 of 12. So I just thought that this was a really great basketball game for the club. The ball was moving. It wasn't sticking. Brunson picked his spots in that fourth quarter. And that's the formula, man. That's the winning formula. And when you have a bench unit, and look, I know Alvarado didn't give you anything off the bench, but, we saw Deuce McBride practicing, running, shooting. He looks like he's ready. And Mike Brown's going to have a little bit of a conundrum with the rotations. And I just think that, Deuce is going to play. He has to play. But I just think that, Mitchell Robinson and Jordan Clarkson, in my opinion, tonight, really set the tone. And obviously Jalen Brunson. But Mitchell Robinson and Jordan Clarkson off that bench were incredible for the New York Knicks tonight. Incredible. They impacted the game in so many different ways. And Mitchell Robinson, you see him diving for rebounds, diving for loose balls. And I'm just like, man, he's ready for the playoffs, and hopefully, you know, knock on wood, he'll be okay for the playoffs, which I don't see a reason why he won't be. But yeah, man, big, just an amazing basketball game for the club. Nostalgic says 48 wins. What's going on? Get them likes up. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Smash the like button. If you're just trickling in here, the Knicks beat the Pelicans 121-116. 7 straight wins for the New York Knicks. Look, 7 straight. You know, it's 7 straight. You're the hottest team in the East. It's funny. The Knicks are winning, and it just seems like all the talk in the national media, it's, you know, well, First Take, it has just been like, it's been a bad season for the New York Knicks. And here we are. We're 48-25. We're going to pass our win total next year from last year, right? We're going to pass our win total from last year. We are. You are in a really good spot at obtaining that second seed. You have 9 games remaining. You go on a 4-game road trip now. Right? You get a travel day tomorrow to Charlotte, quick flight. It's a tough road trip. It is a tough road trip because you have Charlotte, OKC, Houston, Memphis, but which the Knicks will be judged on the road trip. But right now, we're like, tonight was a feel-good win, man. I mean, you know, and you know, the Pelicans. What's his name? Jeremiah Fears, especially in that second quarter, was incredible. They took him out in the fourth quarter, but Jeremiah Fears in that second quarter was incredible for the Pelicans. Fourth quarter, he was really good for the Pelicans. He had an amazing basketball game for them. And, you know, the Pelicans, like, first quarter, they opened up the game, like, attacking, hunting Karl Anthony Towns and hunting Jalen Brunson, and it was actually working for them, right? Zion Williamson, he's a one-trick pony. He doesn't want to shoot threes. He wants to attack the paint, get to the free throw line. Teams know it's coming, but you clearly, I mean, he's like a tank, man. You can't stop him. So that was their game plan, mixed in with some really good bench play, some really good three-point shooting from them, 44% from three, and they're not really a good three-point shooting team, right? What's his name picks up a tech in the fourth that kind of, in my opinion, put a dagger to them and kind of lost them the basketball game. But it was a close basketball game up until the fourth. And again, the Pelicans, they don't play like a 25-48 team. That's for damn sure. They don't. They have some talent on that team. I thought Murray had a terrible game from them. Terrible game from them. I was actually surprised when Fears came out the game in the fourth quarter. And I was surprised when Mike Brown took out Mitchell Robinson in that fourth quarter for Mo D. And the Pelicans went on a little run. That's when Fears, you know, stole the ball. And I was like, man, I was questioning that sub from Mike Brown. But it wound up working out. And away we go. You know. You're 27-9 in Madison Square Garden. That's why we want the 2 seed. Isaiah, Herb Jones. Herb Jones picks up that tech in that fourth, and that was like, that was a 3 points because Brunson was going to the free throw line, and he hits the technical foul. It's a 3-point swing right there. I know they scored right away after that, but that was kind of like you even saw DeAndre Jordan on the bench, like, come on, bro, what are you doing? And but yeah, this was a fun, electrifying game, you know. And clearly we come out on top. But can you believe also, this is Zion's only 3rd time playing in Madison Square Garden because he's been hurt all throughout his career. This is his only 3rd time playing in Madison Square Garden. It's crazy. It's crazy. So shout out to the Knicks, man. Big win from the squad, man. Huge win from the squad. And OG Anunoby, I thought tonight defensively, especially in a nice block on Zion tonight. And I just thought that he gives you 4 stocks tonight, 3 steals and 1 block. In case you don't know what a stock is, it's steals plus blocks. They call it a stock. And defensively, OG, I thought was really good. And he was getting a lot of looks. That's why he takes 13 threes, because most of them were open. Most of them were catching to shoot stuff, and he was hitting them 5 of 13. He took a lot, but I was okay with his shot selection tonight. I was. Mikal too. So OG and Mikal take 23 threes together. 23. They go 9 of 23 from 3 from OG and Mikal. I'm fine with that. Mikal hit a lot of like timely threes that were timely in his basketball game. So, he gives you 14 with the 7 assists. So, really good game for Mikal, and just a solid game for the Knicks, man. That rookie show off, Knicks should have bullied him. Yeah, he was playing. Fears was playing really good. He had no fear. I'll tell you that. He had no fear. Chris Gotti says Knicks played a lot of small ball today. Yeah, that was the reasoning for that Mitch sub. Pelicans don't really have a center, right? Pelicans don't really have a center, which was the main reason. Like, if an opponent team doesn't have a center, Mitchell Robinson's going to dominate. I mean, we saw last game with the Wizards. Don't really have a center healthy. Pelicans don't really have a center. They're starting Zion, Herbert Williams, Trey Murphy, Sadiq Bey. Like, none of them are a traditional center. I guess you can call this guy the Machovic, but he's not even a traditional center. And when Mitchell Robinson, that's what you saw when Mitchell Robinson came into the basketball game. He was impactful right away. Am I muted? Oh. Am I muted? Test. Let me know. Let me know if I'm good. Am I muted? A couple of people in the chat says no audio, you're muted. I just want to make sure I'm okay. Big Taz says I can hear him. Just let me know in the comments. Chris says can't hear no more. Big Taz says not to me. Ronald, what's going on? Ronald says, yo, Ant, can we get to the playoffs already? I can't wait. I want to get to the playoffs. Let me know if my audio is okay, because I don't want to be talking to myself here. Big Taz says not to me. A couple of people says I'm muted. Oh, Castro says had to refresh the stream. Okay, we're good. We're all good. All right, appreciate you guys in the chat once again. Shout out to the members. Isaiah, I see you up in here. Shout out to the chat. Big win for the New York Knicks, man. 7 straight is 7 straight, man. I know they were playing, like, prior to this basketball game, you had an easy schedule. I mean, it was a bunch of layups. Right? A bunch of layup opponents, right? Probably their easiest stretch of the season, right? But tonight was a night where I really wanted to see how this Knicks team was going to respond to this Pelicans team who has had a few good wins on their docket lately. And they're a team in which this Knicks team in the past struggles against, right? Wings that can put the ball in the basket and that can do many things on the basketball court, right? I mean, you have Herbert Jones, you have Zion, right? You have Trey Murphy, Sadiq Bey. This is a team, especially with Murray had a terrible game for them, but this is a team where you wanted to see how this Knicks team would fare. And opening up this game, they looked incredible. Offensively, they've looked incredible. And the starts, right after Mike Brown called them out, the starts have been better. Tonight they started really well in the first quarter. I think they dropped 40 in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken. I think they dropped 40 in the first quarter. But what has been one area where the New York Knicks have struggled in? The starts. So tonight, better start. Wizards game, better start. So they're responding to their coach. They're coming out better, and they're winning in the process of doing so. So Tenjo says Car Wash Jones. Yuri says, what's going on, Yuri? Very good win. Let's carry this momentum into Hornet territory. Yes, against the Charlotte Hornets, who have been playing well. Who have been playing really well from them. Have been playing really well. So now you look at this Knicks team, and they go on this road trip, and they seemingly are going to get healthy. Landry Shamet stayed today. Deuce McBride. Man, if you saw the videos of Deuce McBride prior to the game, you would think he's ready. Right? You would think Deuce McBride is ready to play basketball. He's close. I don't think the Knicks push it, though. You still got a little less than a month for the playoffs. Maybe they can get him in a few games, season end, so they can get his feet wet and get him acclimated back into things. But he's coming back. What he has shown with these workout videos is that, okay, he's coming back. And Mike Brown's going to have some decisions to make. You know, he's going to have to decide between Deuce, Clarkston, Shamet, Grand Theft Alvarado, you know, Kolek in the mix. But as of right now, you can't take Clarkston out the rotation. Alvarado is the one where if he's on, you can leave him in. If he's not, you can go a different direction. Right? But they have a lot of guard play now off the bench that Shaman and Clarkson, I think, are locks in the rotation. Locks. And then after that, I think it's choose your battle. But Deuce was in most of the Knicks' great positive net rating lineups, was the leader in most of those lineups. If you look at the lineups, the lineups with a positive net rating, Deuce McBride is in every single one of those lineups for a reason. He was having a really good year. So he's going to play. You know, it depends on how he looks when he comes back. But like Chris Gotti says in the chat, it's good problems to have because now Mike Brown can go to, pick and choose. Like if this guy's struggling, I can go to this guy. If Mo D's struggling, I can go to this guy. So he has options, and I know it's good problems to have, but you still want to get. I wish the rotations in the playoffs were like 10, but they're not. I mean, you know they shrink in the playoffs. You play your best players more and more in the playoffs. Their minutes go up. Brunson's minutes goes up. The entire starting lineup minutes goes up. I just noticed Karl-Anthony Towns, another 24-minute night. Right, I know he kind of got into foul trouble there in the first half. You know, but this is now three straight games where Karl-Anthony Towns is in the 20s? Yeah. 29 minutes, 26 minutes, 24 minutes. So, and you don't need him to play 35 minutes, Karl-Anthony Towns. You need him in the playoffs to play 35 minutes, but right now you don't need that. You got guys. So, shout out to Buzzer Beater. Cool Breeze says Deuce's explosiveness, conditioning, and rhythm will tell. Yes, that's something I'm going to be watching. Deuce's explosiveness, his shot, his rhythm. Remember, he hasn't been playing for a while. So if you throw him in the mix and he struggles a little bit, which is why I think the Knicks possibly play him maybe the last game of the season, because I believe their back-to-back is in their final 3 games. So maybe they try to get him in there 2 out of those 3 games just to get him back and acclimated. But I don't know, because what I've been seeing is that he's playing, he's practicing, he's conditioned, like he's working on his conditioning. So all positive signs. You know what else is a positive sign? 7 straight, ladies and gentlemen. 7 straight wins, led by our captain Jalen Brunson, 32. Yo, when Brunson plays like this, not many in the NBA that can defend him when he has his mid-range cooking. Not many. And it seemed like every open mid-range shot, he took tonight, it went in, right? And lately, the inefficiency has been there for him, and it's good to see him. Good to see him look like Jalen Brunson. It's good to see that. Good to see that. Chris Gotti says, who won the defensive player of the game? Okay, I'm sure it came out, but I've been pretty bad at these guesses. But I am going to guess it's either Mitch or OG. I would give it to OG and an Obi, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mitch. I would give it to OG. Let me know if OG has gotten the defensive player of the game. But I would give it to OG. Chris Gotti says 15 points in the fourth. Captain clutch. 10-0 run by Jalen Brunson in that fourth quarter. 10-0 run in the fourth quarter alone from our captain, Jalen Brunson. Let me pull up some highlights for you guys on the screen. I'm going to start doing that more, some highlights. Let's go. Let's freaking go, man. Beautiful game. Beautiful basketball game from the New York Knicks. And away we go. Buzzer Beater says it's the injury. Cool Breeze says induces injury is a core injury. Yeah, core injury. And that's a tough injury. You don't want to rush that thing. You don't want to rush those injuries. You want to have him take his time. I know he's itching to get back out there, but you don't want to rush these things, and you don't want to push it because you have the guard play, right? You have the guard play to allow him that extra time off, right? So don't rush it, Deuce. Don't rush it. So shout out to the Knicks, man. As you can see here, fourth quarter, this was when Jeremiah Fears kind of took over there in that fourth quarter a little bit. You know, Pelicans cut this thing down to what? All the way 107, 109. Right? 107, 109. And you're sitting there like, man, how would this Knicks team respond? They call a timeout, and our captain, Jalen Brunson, out the timeout. Easy bucket. Looked more explosive tonight, too, Jalen Brunson. He did. And we've been kind of missing that burst, right? That herky-jerky burst a little bit. But looked more explosive. Some time off will do that. And I just thought Brunson looked like his norm tonight. He looked like his norm. It was just absolutely incredible for this Knicks team. A lot of screaming at the refs. A lot of yelling at the refs tonight. But that's the norm. And away we go. Away we go. Buzzbeater says, Anthony, where do you see where the Knicks could improve? One area has been their starts, Buzzer Beater. And, you know, that was a concern last year in the playoffs, their starts. I think their starting lineup can improve as well. You know, but these last couple have given me hope. But I just think it's the consistency from that starting group just hasn't always been there. Right? It seems they have chemistry, but sometimes it just looks clunky with that starting lineup. And that's going to show in the playoffs, right? When you face better competition, you know, which is why I thought tonight's win was a really good win because the Pelicans are really good. You know, they've been playing okay. But I just think it's the consistency within that starting lineup in which I just hope in a 7-game series that, you know, it doesn't rear its ugly head again. And I just hope that OG, Mikal, especially Mikal, are consistently great. You know, both of them at the same time, especially Mikal. OG's been fine. But, yeah. You know, I think they're really good. The thing about the Knicks is that they're a really good rebounding team. Offensive rebounding team. They're really good at not turning the ball over. They're really good at distributing. Like, they're a really good team. They're top 5 offense in the NBA for a reason. So it's just that sometimes it doesn't look like it, right? And that's the times where we pick and choose when to judge this team, and it's not going to be until the middle of April when the real game starts. Cool Breeze says the intensity needs to pick up throughout the game. Yes, intensity needs to pick up throughout the game. It just seems like sometimes it's not a word, but sometimes their want-to meter isn't really turned on. And look, it's the end. It's getting down there. You got 9 games left. It's the end of the season. But the problem I have with that argument is that we've seen this many times with the New York Knicks. Is they turn it on when they turn it on, like they did in the first quarter. It's on. When the switch is off, they look like a discombobulated group who hasn't played together. And I just think what's giving me hope right now is the bench. Because now Mike Brown, if, let's say, Mikal isn't playing one a playoff game, Mike Brown's going to bench him, and he has this year. You know, he has many options off that bench. Jordan Clarkson, you know, I'm really liking his decision-making lately, Jordan Clarkson. And Mike Brown has a lot of assets to deploy off that said bench. And you have a rookie in that mix, which I understand. Moti is a rookie, but I just think we didn't have that last year. Like, we didn't have. It's either you're on the end of we had that and Tom Thibodeau didn't play it, or we didn't have this deep of a bench. I'm kind of in the middle. I think we had a bench last year, and Tom Thibodeau just refused to go to DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet, especially the games in Indiana when both of them were providing value, and Thibs just refused to go to them again in the second half and just stuck with his own ways. But I just think Mike Brown is not going to do that. I just think because of how many guys we have off the bench that can provide value, winning, and a breather for our starters, because that's going to be important. If you want to win 4 rounds, that's going to be important. Who did win Defensive Player of the Game? I said it was going to be OG, but I don't. Once again, I've been pretty bad with these. Hasn't come out yet. At least the Knicks account, the official Knicks account, hasn't posted it. What's on Cat's wrist? Looks like a metal stitching. YouTube search Cat's wrist and you will see it. Very weird. I'm going to have to look that up. I didn't notice that. What's on Cat's? Cat has a metal stitching on his wrist? Didn't really notice that, but look, everyone's banged up. It's so late in the season. Everyone's banged up, you know. And it was probably from a hard fall, you know, and he just wants to be precautious and guard against an injury. But Cat, you know, last year with the hand, with the fingers, saying to the crowd like I broke it, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen that. Yet. This man right here had himself a game. Jeremiah Fears had himself a game. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Once again, smash the like button, subscribe. You guys can hit the Discord if you want to call in to the Knicks Nation show. The link is in the description. Shout out to the boys. 7 straight wins for the New York Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks Nation crew. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the time. Thanks for the support. As always, thanks for giving me your time on this Tuesday evening on the Knicks Nation YouTube channel. If you're new here, subscribe, like, all the good stuff. Really appreciate you guys' support as just growing the Knicks Nation brand, you know, trying to grow this thing. Been doing this for a few years now, and you guys are awesome, honestly. And April's around the corner, so I just cannot wait. I'm ready. Paul says we did have a bench. Tom was the problem. That's why he's gone. You know, that's why he's gone. Tom Thibodeau, gone. But Mike Brown will still have stuff to prove in the playoffs, right? Still going to have playoffs, everything tightens up. And look, Mike Brown has a few championships under his belt with the Golden State Warriors as an assistant. So that's giving me hope and confidence that he knows. I think he knows what it takes to get to the finals and to win in these tough battles, because I do think he's minded, tested. So I'm not really concerned about that, but we're gonna have to see it, right? I could talk about it, but we're gonna have to see it at the end of the day. Cool Breeze says this year's bench is better than last year. I wouldn't trust them either. Buzzer Beater says hit the like button and subscribe. Appreciate you, Buzzer Beater. Yeah, man, this was a nice watch, man. Anyone else, did I miss anyone in particular? I really loved the game from Clarkson tonight. That's why I have him on the thumbnail. I just really loved the game from him, because he's like a smaller guard, but how he navigates getting in the paint and just kicking that thing out. It seems like every pass and every read that he makes, as he's been making lately, has been on point. It seems like he's not making any mistakes out there, right? It just seems like he's taken the time when he was on the bench and he studied. He's realized, look, Mitchell Robinson's open majority of the time underneath the hoop, and no one's getting him for the lob. And Clarkson's coming in here. I mean, we saw it in the first quarter. Him and Mitch, connecting on a lob. And it's happened multiple times. So Clarkson, the oldest Knick on the team. He's 33 years old. It's crazy. He's he is a vet in this league. And former sixth man of the year, was out the rotation. Now he's back in the rotation, and he's playing like a sixth man of the year candidate. That's how he's been playing lately. And I'm not being dramatic. He's been really good for us off that bench. Because there's been times like tonight, Jose Alvarado, 9 minutes, gives you goose eggs, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, just nothing from him against his former team. But man, Mitch and Jordan are a really nice tandem off the bench. They really are. It's good luxury. It's a good luxury. CJ salutes. Cool Breeze says Carson can create, and that's one area where the Knicks lack. Creators. Jordan Clarkson can create. Mitch, defensive player of the game. Okay. Yeah, it was. I said Mitch or OG. I was leaning towards OG, but Mitchell Robinson was incredible. I think that dive for the loose ball in the fourth quarter sealed it for Mitchell Robinson. Once he did that and it deflected off of, I forgot who he deflected it off of on the right side of the court. But once he did that, that won him defensive player of the game. CJ says Alvarado looks shaky at backup point. Got to defend his position, and he's not scoring. That's why they cut the lead in the second quarter. Yeah, that second quarter. When the Pelicans in that second quarter, they went on a 12-0 run in that second quarter to get them back in the game. Yeah, Alvarado was on the court for that. Right? And it wasn't necessarily his fault, but they started to hit their shots. They started to become confident. Jalen Brunson was on the bench. So the Knicks were, Karl Anthony Towns was out there. Just nothing was happening offensively in that second quarter for the Knicks. Nothing. And third quarter, I thought the Knicks came out of the halftime break and played really well. And, that's always been another area in the New York Knicks where they can improve, like these third quarters and these starts. But I just thought that in the third quarter they played really well, even though the Pelicans were hanging around. I just thought that offensive, it was a it was a fun back and forth, tough shots on both ends basketball game from both sides, especially in that third quarter. And then incoming the fourth, when your captain Jalen Brunson took over. He gives you the 15 points. He went on a 10-0 run by himself, and that won them the game. You know, Captain Clutch. Captain Clutch. CJ says Kolek needs a shot. That's the thing. Like, there's so many guys ahead of Kolek that where does his shot come from? I don't think his shot, people want to play him over Alvarado. But, like, Alvarado, look, he's been inconsistent lately. But I'm just hoping that in a 7-game series, he will provide you the spark that you need to possibly win you a game, right? I think he will. He's their energizer, right? And last game he was good. Like last game, like he's been. The Brooklyn game was Washington game was okay. Tonight's game he was bad. So Mike Brown could just be like, dude, you're not playing well. Let me put, if Deuce is back, Deuce is gonna play over Alvarado no matter what. I don't think it's necessarily Alvarado or Deuce McBride argument. I think Deuce is going to play over him no matter what. Just my opinion. Because of what Deuce was bringing to us when he was playing and healthy early on in the season. Right? So, we'll see. But like we said, it's good problems to have. The thing is, there are a lot of guards. There are a lot of guards off that bench. Alvarado, Deuce, Clarkson, right? 3 guards. But they're going to play. Clarkson's definitely playing in the playoffs. Deuce definitely playing in the playoffs. I think Alvarado's going to be the odd man out here. The more I think about it, I think he's going to be the odd man out here. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I don't think he's not going to play. Like, I think there's going to be times when you can play him, and especially when you need a spark, just throw him in there. But yeah, it's fun to have a bench like this. Like, it's fun to have a bench where different guys provide different things. Like Mo D gives them defense. He can hit his catch and shoot threes. He's a driver. Really has to work on his finishing around the rim a little bit. Like him to dunk more. But he's a rookie, and he's just been awesome the entirety of the season. But he's a 6'9" wing who just gives them a different look off the bench. Mitchell Robinson does what Mitchell Robinson does. Shamet does what Shamet does, even though Shamet's been struggling. I think this break is good for Shamet, by the way, too. I know he's dealing with this knee injury. They're not concerned. I think this break is good for Shamet because talk about a guy who fights over every screen, dives for loose balls. It's Landry Shamet. And I think this break would do him good. So, Joel says, when is Shamet coming back? It is not known. They're calling him day to day, Joel. They're calling him day to day, so we'll see. We'll see when that is. But why rush? You have 9 games left. Let's not rush it. Let's take our time with Landry Shamet and just go from there. 9 games left. Now you hit the road. Look, you're 48-25. Let's go. 48-25. 2 wins away from 50, ladies and gentlemen. Cavs win again. 2 wins away from 50. Cavs are on a 4-game winning streak. So it's a good thing you're on a 7. This is why, 7-game winning streak. Yeah, it's 7-game winning streak. Yeah, the opponents really haven't been great, but who cares? Like, the Cavs have been winning. Let's say you went, 3-4 within the 7 games. Like, the Cavs would have leapfrogged you. So these games are important. It's not just catching Boston. It's making sure you don't hop back into fourth, right? And be tied with Cleveland, which I don't think that'll happen. And I even saw some Knicks fans saying that they wouldn't mind being the 4th seed. But no, like like I said, I wanted as many games possible in Madison Square Garden. And getting the 2nd seed gives you home court for the first couple of rounds in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Right? And away we go. 7 straight, hottest team in the East. Hottest team in the East after Atlanta. Well, Atlanta won 10 straight and then they lost, right? But right now, if the season ended today, the Knicks will face the Atlanta Hawks. Man, and the Miami Heat. Take a look at the Miami Heat. They're not going to fall out the play-in tournament. But, man, they've lost 5 in a row. Like, Charlotte's won 4 in a row. Like, this Charlotte game is going to be another test that I'm excited to watch. Because a lot of people think Charlotte can possibly knock out, like, a Detroit team in the first round if they get matched up with them. But, you know, then you have Orlando, lost 6 in a row. Like, these play-in teams, nobody wants to... This is what allowed Atlanta to hop in the 6th seed. Right? But, man, this... Philly. Did Philly get Paul George back? I know he's suspended. They got Paul George back? But, yeah, I'm excited to see the Knicks versus the Hornets. Chris Gotti says Knicks got better once they traded. Atlanta got better once they traded Young. Yeah, they did. CJ says JC defense is much improved and he can get a bucket and distribute. Yeah. Yeah. You're seeing him really taking upon himself to fight over picks, fight over screens, call out switches. And you're seeing him, when he makes a mistake defensively, and it's been rare lately, you're seeing him get upset at himself. Because I'm sure Mike Brown and the coaching staff have talked to him about that. And the veteran didn't sulk, went back in the lab, continued to support the guys, continues to support the guys on X. And now he's playing really well for this team. And it's a fascinating 180 from, in terms of being on the bench, being parked on the bench, right? Being parked on the bench. And it really started during that Laker game, right? And now playing really well, especially on the defensive end. Cool Breeze says, as long as we don't play Orlando because they taxing, they be hurting our players. Something in them Florida waters. Cool Breeze says, JC, Shamit, Jose, all guards. Somebody got to sit. Yeah, the more I think about it, if you have a healthy Deuce McBride, I think Jose Alvarado is the odd man out because your 3 guards will probably be Jordan Clarkson, Deuce McBride, and Landry Shamet. Those are your 3 guards. Your 4th is Mitch. Now that's already a 9-man rotation. We know in the playoffs sometimes these things shrink to 8. So maybe in the first round you can get away with 9-10, right? I think Mo D will get some run. Second round against, let's say we're facing Boston and things tighten up a little bit. I just think that, look, if Alvarado's not going to play well, it's Deuce McBride, it's Landry Shamet, it's Jordan Clarkson, or even vice versa. Like if Jordan Clarkson's struggling, you can go to Alvarado. Like you have options now. You don't just have your starters and 2 guys off the bench. You have options. Your bench is very diverse. And you have Mo D as your wing. Your big 6'9" small ball player that you can unleash on a defensive possession like we saw versus Jaylen Brown when we faced the Celtics. Like when we face Boston in the second round, if and when, like we're probably going to see some of those looks, some of those lineups. Yeah, we're deep enough to go 10, and I think Mike Brown will utilize his bench. I do. Because OKC utilizes their bench. They have a bench. They utilize their bench. 10 is too much. 10 is too much during the playoffs. I think it'll be 9. Again, it depends on Deuce McBride's conditioning. It depends on how he's looking out there. Is he Deuce McBride? Is he rusty? There's going to be some rust from him. There's going to be some rust. If you're just joining, we're talking about Deuce McBride, the possible return. back-to-back games where we've been seeing him do some basketball activities prior to the game, running, jumping. He's doing contact. He's looking like Deuce, right? It's crazy. So we'll see regarding that. I'm sure there's a lot of steps that he needs to take to come back. But with the way this team is playing, with the bench, like I just feel like, look, man, we're 48-25. We're not catching Detroit. They've won 4 in a row. They're winning without Cade, right? The Boston Celtics, I don't think, are catching the Pistons either. So the Pistons are going to be your number 1 seed. Then it's 2, 3, 4 because now Cleveland, guys, there's like I don't like to say it, but there could be a world where the Knicks fall back to 4th. Could be. Because Cleveland's only 2.5 behind them. And I know we have the tiebreaker, but 9 games remaining. You have this tough road trip coming up, so these games matter. Like, these games matter. You know, we go on a 4-game road trip. You know, I have to pull up Cleveland's schedule. But Charlotte, OKC, Houston, Memphis. Look, 2-2, 3-1 will be amazing. But 2-2 would be, in my opinion, like with the Memphis game as the gimme, the lone gimme on April Fool's Day. And this is this is... Knicks got 2 back-to-backs? I thought they had 1. Wow, they have 2 back-to-backs remaining. I've been saying 1 this whole time. I just noticed that the March 31st game and the April 1st game, that's a back-to-back. At Houston, at Memphis. And then you have a back-to-back versus Boston versus Toronto to close out the season. This whole time, I thought they had 1 back-to-back left. My apologies. But, see, that's going to be tough. At Houston, going to, you know, from Houston to Memphis. So, yeah, I mean, with the resurgence of Cleveland now, you have to watch them. That's all I'm saying. You have to watch them. Because a couple of game losing streak, 2-game losing streak, but with a Cleveland 2-game winning streak, all of a sudden Cleveland's right on your ass. So, Mike is in the building. What's going on, Mike? Appreciate you in the chat. I'm listening with my headphones and hoodie up. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support, Mike. Really appreciate that. Great win tonight. Now y'all see what I've been saying about OG Anunoby. He can do it all. Let's go. Look, he is, would you call him the linchpin? Would you call him the secret sauce in the starting lineup? I mean, OG's been phenomenal. Like, OG's the one Knick that I'm not one of the Knicks like him. Like, I'm fine with. Like, it's Mikal where I'm kind of like shaky a little bit. But last year gave me confidence with Mikal in the playoffs, especially the games versus Boston, the game versus Detroit. But OG is like, and the thing is about OG, right? It's not back-to-back years. Again, knock on wood. If I'm not mistaken, I know he played 70 games last year. That was the most since his rookie year. How many games is he on pace for? He's played 50. He played 74 games last year. Knicks have 9 games left. So he's not going to get to 70. But that's 65 when, like, he's been healthy. He's been fairly healthy. Knock on wood, man. I don't want to jinx this thing. When he's healthy, he's one of the best two-way players in the NBA. Right? And we're starting to see him get more involved here in the offense, right? So, because remember, when he first got here, we were dealing with the elbow. He had a foot thing with the elbow thing. We were on elbow watch with OG Anunoby. He had a brace on his elbow and the hamstring. Right, the hamstring. And I saw a video of him, Game 7 versus Indiana, where he gutted it out and came out for his teammates and hit. I think he hit 2 threes in the first, but he just couldn't go, playing off a torn hamstring. So I'm not like OG will definitely win us some games, man. Definitely. OG's been phenomenal. Oh, I forgot about the Discord. My bad, Yuri. I've been here sitting here talking. You guys can hit the Discord. Mess2128, Yuri, waiting in the Discord. All right, let's get to the Discord. Yuri, welcome into the Knicks Nation post game show.
Yo,
What's going
and waiting here.
on? My
And
bad.
all I'm gonna say is this.
Good.
Before I talk about this game, before I go on this game, Stephen A. Stupid. Stephen A. And waiting here. Stephen A. Stupid. You are not a Knicks fan. Give me a card so I can burn it. Please. You don't know what goes on in the locker room. You don't know what goes on in the players' lives. You don't know what these Knicks do on a daily basis with Mike Brown. They were on a 7-game winning streak. Are on a 7-game winning streak. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
We've beaten the Spurs. We've beaten Denver. We've beaten the Celtics. Held the Celtics to their lowest scoring point of the season by 89 points, by the way. And this team is clicking on all cylinders. Hart does not need to, and I quote, respond to you on defending his boy Mikal Bridges. He locks in when it matters most, along with Mikal, 14 points, 7 assists, shot some threes, did what he needed to do, and I hope we get that more consistency from Mikal come playoff time.
Mm-hmm.
You are not a Knicks fan. You are stupid and an idiot.
I don't know if you
Now on
call,
to the game.
I don't know if you call my reaction to it. Like, what he's saying is true, but why are we jumping to that conclusion is my point right now. Like, it's still March. We're not in April yet. Why are we judging this team already in March when we haven't seen the full product in April, May, and hopefully June?
But not to mention, and Mike Brown just stated, sorry to cut you off,
yeah.
that he is calling plays for Cat when he wasn't calling plays for Cat in the beginning of the season. Not even a finished product yet, Ant.
Nope. And look, Cat has been really comfortable in this offense lately, right? He's like the walk-up threes. We've been missing those, and we saw one tonight. Like, Cat's been awesome.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Mikal, I hope the consistency is back with him. Hart's been amazing. Another hard game. Jalen Brunson, I can never talk good about Jalen Brunson enough as much times as I did. Mr. Clutch for a reason. 10 games in the playoffs. Now we're going to 9 games, Ant. Tough 3-game stretch. I'm going to say 3-1. I'm going to say the Knicks win both Houston and OKC. Yeah. I'm going to say Knicks win against OKC. I'm going to say Knicks win against Houston. I'm going to say Knicks lose Memphis because it's on a back-to-back.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
But I'm sorry.
I didn't know they had 2 back-to-backs left. That's a tough
No,
one.
they had to change the Memphis one because of that snowstorm. That happened recently.
Okay. That makes sense.
But yeah, no, and I'm just getting sick and tired of the media just painting negative Knicks every time they do something positive.
Yeah, look, I get it, man. I'm sick and tired of it, but I'm kind of used to it. When I see it come across my timeline, especially Stephen A. Smith, look, he gotta drive the views up. He has to drive the engagement up. And what do us Knicks fans do? We click on it, we watch it, we react to it, and look, that's how he gets the big bucks from ESPN. But look, he's kind of, the thing I don't like is that the Knicks are in the midst of we're in a 7-game winning streak, and here we are talking about.
I'm in a place for it, Ant.
Yeah. So here we are talking about the negative stuff right now, which I can understand it if we're on a 7-game losing streak, but like, come on, it's uncalled for right now, man. It's uncalled for.
I agree, but yeah, no, back to the game. Very fast-paced game, man. No defense was being played in both quarters, in the first quarter, until the Knicks went on a friggin' 10-0 run to make it 28-42. Then New Orleans responds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With another one of their own. Now it's a tie game. And now it's just back and forth till the Knicks start pulling away in the fourth quarter. And one of the problems I had with Tom Thibodeau last year was they lacked a killer instinct with this team. Saw it in the playoffs. Saw it in some regular season games. And we even saw the slow starts as well. Now the Knicks are winning the first quarter. Now they're starting to feel like they can get off to a good start.
Yeah.
And I hope that continues going forward. That's the one habit I feel like that will make a difference come playoff time. You can't get off to a slow start in the first quarter.
You are so right, Yuri, and that's my concern with them. Yuri, appreciate the call.
Love you, Ant.
As always.
Thank you, brother.
Shout out to you for the support. Let's get to the next caller, Mets 2128. How are you tonight? Welcome into the Knicks Nation post-game show.
I did not need such another game that required me to get a stress ball out. The fact that not to start the second and third quarters, the Knicks gave up such big runs to the Pelicans infuriated me. Second quarter more so than the third. You do not start a quarter giving up a 15-2 run.
Brutal. You're right. Second quarter, when Alvarado was out there, you take your captain out. Second quarter, the Pelicans, what is this, Fears, looking like Chris Paul out there, just going crazy, right? They started to get a rhythm, and the Knicks, credit to the Knicks, though, they responded, right? They responded to the run.
Yes, but it took them felt like forever and a day to even get a bucket. Having said that, this is not something we need going to Thursday's game against Charlotte. You know by how many points the Hornets clobbered the Kings by tonight?
Who they play tonight?
Sacramento.
Wow, 134, 190. Whew.
Yeah, 44 points.
44 spot. Pelicans, man. I'm calling them a sleeper team to knock out somebody in the first round. The turnaround has been incredible from them.
They're not in the play-in rank now. I think with
I know. They're going to make it out the play-in.
They're not even in the play-in rankings. They're now officially out of contention.
No, they're in the play-in right now. What are they, 8?
No, the Pelicans are 11.
No, I was talking about the Hornets.
Oh, no, they're 9.
Yeah, I was talking about the Hornets. Like, they're gonna make it out the play-in, and I'm assuming that I assume that they'll make it a living hell for somebody in the first round, right? The Hornets.
Yeah.
So Hornets are good. It's going to be a test, but yeah, if we look, every game is different. You can't carry over the habits this game, even though I thought the Knicks responded to the Pelicans run, especially in the second quarter, really well when Brunson came back in the game and Mitch and did their thing. And third quarter, I think, was more of a back and forth, and then the fourth quarter, JB took over. But the next 4. Like, especially on the road, they're going to be tough. They are. But, if we're a really good basketball team, we should be able to beat the Hornets on the road. We should.
True.
So, we'll see.
Then there's the Thunder game, which is the game I actually have the Knicks losing. And you can't argue against that, can you?
No, I can't. What is it? I can't, but I go back to last year where the Knicks, what do they have, a fourth quarter lead in OKC, and then they just blew it.
Because Thibodeau didn't want to change the lineup.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I even thought 3 years ago we had a lead. Well, that was prior to the Barrett trade and quickly traded. I think we traded them right after the game versus OKC too. But yeah, I mean, look, you're at OK. Look, they're a really good team, right? Matt's doing they're a really good team. I just hope that the Knicks give them a run for their money. It's a good test game. It's on NBC. They're gonna have. Think about that game. They're gonna have 2 games off prior to that game. They're gonna be rested.
Yeah, a station the Knicks have not been good on this year.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I've only counted us winning only 2 or 3 games on NBC this year.
Yeah. So we'll see. What else you got tonight?
Let's just hope the Thunder do their job tomorrow night. We're still percentage points behind Boston.
Yes. Yeah, still percentage points. Let's hope. I think they will. Hey, appreciate the call in, Mets 2128. You're always welcome to call into the show. Shout out to you. Thank you for the support as always. Shout out to the callers tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to all of you in the chat. Appreciate the subs. Appreciate the likes. TA, what's going on? Appreciate you. Continue to like and share. Appreciate the support. TA, really do. Zero says, I'm a Knicks fan for life. 0XFN. What's going on? Appreciate you hopping into my show. Haven't seen you in here if you're new. Hello. I'm Anthony. Yeah. Look. I want the Knicks to battle OKC, treat it like a playoff game. Yeah. You know, Sunday night basketball. Right? And you're in OKC. They beat you in Madison Square Garden. You know, SGA should have got the third foul in the first quarter. Go out there and have a respectable basketball game and win it. They're very capable. If they play like their offense has been showing over these last two, really 3 out of the last 4. Look, OKC is one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. But let's see how they fare up against them. You know, let's see how they fare up against them. A lot of Knicks fans are going to view that as a test. We'll see. But these next 2 are tough. Next 3. Right, next 4, guys. Record. Next 4. Charlotte, OKC, Houston, Memphis. I'm putting a 2-2 on their tag. I'm not going to go crazy. But there's a possibility for them to go 1-3 or even 3-1, right? So hopefully they can take the good habits that they've had over these last 7 games and have them in Charlotte, OKC, Houston, Memphis. But their next 3 opponents are really, really good teams, with 2 of them being possibly the best defenses in the NBA, right? Where's Houston at? Houston's 6th. And Houston, I shouldn't say Houston's a good team. They've gotten tested from their head coach lately. I think I saw him calling out their team. What was it, yesterday or 2 days ago? That's not a tough game. Like, you're better than Houston. But it's out west. And the Knicks have shown that they're pretty good against these West teams. So we'll see. We'll see. And if you take a look at the West, look, the Knicks would be 3rd in the West if they were out in the West. They would be right behind the San Antonio Spurs. And it took the Lakers winning, 11 games in a row, something like that, to reach the number 3 seed. So, we're fine. We're fine right now. We're fine. If you pull up Boston's schedule, OKC tomorrow. OKC, Atlanta, Charlotte, Atlanta. Their next 4 games are against teams that have been really good as well. OKC, Atlanta, Charlotte, Atlanta. So, again, I do think the Knicks finished number 2 seed. I do. I think it's theirs to lose, in my opinion. Now, we got some work to do on this West Coast trip. We got some work to do. Did I miss the player of the game image? Wait, it's OG. Let's go. Let's go. OG. Mikel, Jose, Mo D with the rap on his shoulder. Jalen Brunson, big head in the background. OG with the boots around his neck, a hard hat. OG. El Figure, what's going on? Appreciate you hopping in here. JC, man, we should have an offensive player of the game too. But OG Anunoby, much deserved, man. He's been He's been incredible. Tonight, 4 stocks tonight for OG Anunoby. And a really good basketball game for your New York Knicks as they win 7 straight. 7 straight is 7 straight. Hasn't always looked pretty, but when the season ends, we're going to just look at their final number and ultimately judge this team in April, May, and hopefully June. I can't wait. Less than a month, ladies and gentlemen. Less than a month until we're watching New York Knicks playoff basketball. 9 more of these regular season games. And away we go. Away we go. How about some audio from the guys?
The crap that I say is not that important. The crap that I say is not that important.
Mike Brown is in a good mood. Here's Coach Mike Brown on Karl Anthony Towns.
But, I would say this, we also had to, when I say we, I'm talking about me, I had to adjust to him as well. And that's what a season's about. We're not playing the same way offensively as we did to start the year. And so I had to make some adjustments to try to figure out how I can get him involved a little bit better, get him to feel a little bit more comfortable. And it's showing a little bit. He's obviously putting the work, which you want all your guys to do. But it's a two-way street, and it's good to see him playing at the level he's playing at right now.
Two-way street. Mike Brown calling, saying Karl Anthony Towns has also put in the work. Oh, we got an update. Miles McBride has progressed to scrimmaging in his rehab from sports hernia surgery. Mike Brown has said. Back soon. Back soon. Josh Hart.
Take all 7. Kind of feel like something accomplished there that you learned about yourself.
No, I mean, good teams win games like they're supposed to. Obviously, anyone in the league can beat you on any given day. This team is a really good team. Shut up. This team's a really good team. The record doesn't show it just because of their injury, but it's a really good team. But it feels good, and obviously we got a tough, I think, 9 or 10 games left to finish the season. But it's all in preparation.
Let's go, man. Josh Hart playing really well lately. Playing really well, Mr. Hardy. Mr. Hart.
Over a game like you did at the end of tonight. Just what's it like to be on the court when he's scoring almost every possession, taking every shot?
Yeah, I mean, that's the position that I know he likes to be in. We want him in that position. And you learn when you watch this game or you play this game. Last 3 or 4 minutes of a game is winning time, and that's when your players go. Your superstars, your main guys go out there and show them why they're at that level. So that's what he did.
These videos are from SNY New York. SNY, these are not my videos. Want to make that clear before they come after me. Yes, El Figure talked about Jordan Clarkson. Tremendous basketball game from him. Came into the game in the first quarter and just lit it up, honestly. Lit it up. The lob passes to Mitch. It seems like him and Mitch have formed some type of chemistry that, we've been waiting for. Like, the lobs for Mitch, even dating back to last year, like, we've been calling for it. Like, we've been wanting Brunson to find Mitch, but it just seems like the coaching staff, Mike Brown, have made it clear, like, dude, just throw it up anywhere near the rim, and Mitchell Robinson will probably catch it and probably dunk it. It's that simple, because Mitch has been healthy. He seems bouncy lately. He's bouncy. He's back. Contract year for Mitch. He's trying to get paid. Like, and this is what we saw last year in the playoffs, right? Besides the hack and Mitch nonsense. Hit a free throw tonight. Shout out to Mitch. But, yeah. Yeah, I'll figure, look, JC is going. I believe, in my opinion, it's going to be tough on Mike Brown, but Deuce McBride has been in all of the Knicks' positive net rating lineups. Like, you don't want to just sit that player and just play Alvarado over him. Or I just think he's going to play, and that's going to come at the expense of somebody else, like a Alvarado possibly, or a Mo D. But I think when you need like a defensive stop, a defensive position, like Deuce is going to be in there for a lot of possessions in the playoffs, in my opinion. And as he should. Like, he was good versus Boston. He was good. And he's been good in the playoffs. He's been good. So, Buzzbeater says, "Ant, why don't we see Cat catching lobs off pick and rolls?" Yeah, like, that's not his game. Like, that's not his game. And he seems like a magnet down there, gobbling up all the rebounds and with the putback dunks. But the lobs really aren't his game. We saw him hit a reverse layup versus Washington, which I was really surprised at. But it's just showing me that he has his vertical back. Like, I don't think that's Cat's game. Like, Cat's never been like a lob threat. If you throw it, like, if he's near the hoop and underneath the hoop, Cat can catch some lobs. But not like Mitch. Mitch is more of a vertical threat than Cat. And we don't need that from Cat. Right? We don't need that from Cat. But I do see, like, what I love is that the walk-up threes, and he just seems more confident in the offense. And Mike Brown spoke about it after the game. So, fun game, man. Really fun game for the Knicks. Really fun game for the New York Knickerbockers as they win their 7th straight. Look, competition wasn't all that great, but like Josh Hart said, the Pelicans, they've been hurt the entire year pretty much, and they've been playing better. They beat, right? They've had some good wins under their belt. So away we go, man. Away we go. We have a tough stretch coming up here. 4-game road trip. Let me post it on my screen. Once again, this is the Boston Celtics schedule. Charlotte smoked the Kings 134-190. Damn, 44. Sheesh, Kings stink, man. Cavs playing well. You guys trust the Cavs in the playoffs? I don't. That's for damn sure. So, yeah, Knicks, Hawks. Let me look at the bracket. Oh, I was going to pull up their schedule. That's what I was going to do. A lot of wins. Charlotte, OKC, Houston, Memphis. It's tough, man. Look, I'm going into this thinking 2-2. That's where my head's at. Because it is back-to-back. Houston, Memphis, tough. You're not going to have Mitch. You know, it's tough. Back-to-backs are tough. Tickets as low as $6. I wish. I wish. Those of you Knicks fans that are in Memphis, if you want to watch the New York Knicks, you can watch them for $6. I'm jealous. I am jealous. Buzzbitty, he can't catch lobs. I'm just saying that's not what we ask from him. He's not really like when he's going to the hoop, he's not really like when he sets the pick, he's a roller, but he just doesn't. That's not his game. You know, it's not his game, but he can catch lobs when he's underneath the hoop because vertically he can jump up and high. But when he's going downhill, he's had some dunks on people, but we don't need him to catch lobs. 3-1. Yeah, 3-1. 3-1, 2-2. I'm not going crazy. But again, the Cleveland Cavaliers are on your ass. So it's another reason to win these basketball games. So again, season ended today would be Hawks. It would be the Atlanta Hawks. It's crazy, man. Going back to the 20, when it was the last we played the Hawks in 2021. the year prior. Was that the year prior to Jalen Brunson? When the Elfrid Payton, Derrick Rose, Julius Randle, when Randle couldn't score a bucket. Get some revenge on them. So, we shall see. All right, guys. Appreciate you in the chat. Once again, thanks for the support. You guys are awesome. Going to go ahead and end this live stream. You guys can follow the socials at KnicksNation on Instagram, at KnicksNation on X, at KnicksNation _ on TikTok. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel and hit the Apple, Spotify, audio side at KnicksNation as well. Just look for the logo. I'm Anthony from KnicksNation. 7 straight. Let's go. I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great night. Appreciate the support. Let's go, Knicks. Peace.